How about my dearest YouTube friends? Today we are in a new video, a new monthly tier list in which we are going to analyze the new characters of October 2025, and separately we are also going to analyze what the new characters of 7 have done, and also, as always, focus on prestige, relics, and also, well, the comments that you have left me in Excel to be able to analyze for the next month. Okay, I remind you that this Excel is available in absolutely all the videos in the description, and this way it will be easier for you, for example, to know if the character that has touched you in the crystals is worth promoting or not, because if it seems like something is wrong to you, of course you have to upload. If it belongs to usable, well, logically not. Apart from that, you also have some emoticons that have a legend on the right that tell you, well, what do you have to be looking at, okay, in terms of little hearts of uniqueness, and all that's worth it. I remind you, friends, that you can leave comments absolutely in Excel whenever you want, so that I can analyze it for next month. In this case, we have a series of comments from the community. Okay, in this case, let's start because Diego Lagos tells us about Maker that I have it on Senigo tier, and what he tells us is that Maker turned out great. Wouldn't you upload it? Well, no, the truth is not. If you are going to watch the video, should I remind you that all the ones underlined in red mean that I have analyzed the channel's character? Simply with one click, you are redirected to the video in question. In this case, Diego, I have to tell you that the Maker is a character that is quite complicated, and that depends a lot on the... Now, to be able to get maximum damage out of it through the mines. I was already able to demonstrate it in the analysis video, and it is true that if you get very good playing with it, it is a piece of beast. But for me, I don't consider it to have to be higher. For me, it stays in semi-god tier. So friends, let me think about what I just said. Whether the Maker should be higher or it should be lower, or if it should be in god tier like Diego Lagos says. In this case, for me, he will stay in semi-god. Okay, so let's put this one as solved. Let's go to the next one. This one is worthless because this goes to the green elf. I think this is wrong, okay? Then he directly apologizes to us. We go this way. Diego Lagos puts us in the high evolutionist. No, he is not joking or in defense. He stands out as he does, Enchantress. Pure prestige. Well, here I have to tell you the good, the opposite, so I agree with you. I think we must be lowering the high evolver. We are going to be lowering it to semi-got 100. Okay, because in this case, the evolutionist, we thought it was going to be a pretty strong potential in defense due to that self-blocking it has. And it is true that this character can be difficult in certain nodes, but friends, I don't think it should be a GOTY 100. It is true that it is the top 1 prestige, so... Yes, you should raise it if you are looking for the maximum prestige possible. So friends, before Evolver it descends, in this case to semi-god tier is okay. What else do we have, friends? Well, in this case, Eliel Ramirez, by the way, a member of the channel, I recommend that if you want to become members of the channel, because if you want to appear at the end of all the videos, simply become a member of the channel and you will appear at the end of absolutely all the videos. Well, the girl tells us that Dracula has a synergy of Blade, but he comes back more broken due to his accumulation power and more bleeding. Blade already has his new synergy and greeting from Oaxaca, because a greeting Eliel in this case tells us a little about Dracula, who has a synergy with Blade, which is quite powerful. We will have to test it in the future, in a future analysis or something like that, so thank you very much, Eliel, for the information. Aldo Damian, friends, gives us a comment about Tigra. And what he tells us is to make a guide on how to use Tigra. Well, the truth is, I have thought a lot about making a guide, which happens to be a bit complicated for it to turn out well, but hey, I can think about it and I think I can bring it throughout this month of November. Okay, what else do we have? Well, comments. Well, look, Pablo Vicente tells us a guide about spirals. Well, another, just as he asks for a guide, in this case from Tigra, well, from Spiral to me, Spiral. The truth is that he is a character that I don't like that much. It is true that he has very strong damage, but for me, he is not one of the best characters. Although I know that he is very useful, and that is why I give him a tier more, for the community more than for me, because I prefer to give other mystics than Spiral, but hey, or maybe I will also bring you an analysis of this stuff. And, well, we already have everyone. We have already resolved all the comments, so we can now move on to the channel's tier list, so to speak, in which we are going to talk about the new characters, which in this case we have to talk a little about Franken-Castle, which you are already seeing here. And we have therefore put the green heart emoticons because the Titan is going to be in the future, and I consider that the ability has to be awakened and with quite high security. Then come on, we're leaving right now towards the games that here we have the power of Franken-Castle, and we are going to be analyzing it. Okay, in this case it tells us that when Frank Garcia auctions that he obtains a passive of Immortal Friends, remember that the immortal thing is not the same as the one that has Hercules, simply that the harmful effects on the electric iPhone, since it is not activated when they are going to knock it out for 5 or 10 seconds. If this immortality prevents you from being knocked out or having your personal rage handicap, it has no effect unless you allow it for 20 seconds. Besides, Frank has no more critical strength because the harmless disadvantage he suffers up to a maximum of days. Let's remember that Franken-Castle is a character who puts himself at personal disadvantages, and therefore what the duplicate does is increase his damage while the speaker is under interaction. Frank doesn't get an energy penetration that doubles when fighting characters without. For this very reason, it seems to me that the character of Franken-Castle has to have a quite high awakened ability. Quite high, because in the end, he is going to serve us a lot in defense. And especially in terms of attack, also with those disadvantages apart, I have also put the shield symbol because in the end, this is going to be a quite complicated character because you have already seen how he activates the unstoppable, and in certain nodes, it can make this Franken-Castle quite difficult. Once we talked about him, for the moment, I am going to be placing him in a solid semi-go tier. We'll see if in the future this Franken-Castle goes up to go tier or no celebrities. Investing or lowering abusable is okay. At the moment, it is a goal because the characters, the summoners who have been able to obtain this character, whether with the first appearance crystals or by buying them and so on, since it has been seen that their performance in pattern is very, very good. Let's get the next one. Friends, this month, they also brought us Dracula's Bonachon. Here we have it. In this case, I put the green heart back on Dracula. And in this case, the little star that they only need the awakened ability. And we're going to the games because you're going to see why I put this on you. Okay, we're not going to filter through the 7 stars, but in this case, the mystics that I don't know why have been bugged by the camera. So there's already a little pause. I don't know why all the characters had gone up. Well, we're not going to look at Dracula's info to analyze his unique ability. His name is the Prince of Darkness, and what he tells us is that as an attacker, when the opponent's unblockable, unstoppable illusion effects fail due to ability pressure reduction, he inflicts passive bleeding for 3 seconds. Apart from that, Dracula gains strength attack lethal ammo disadvantage. He suffers up to a maximum of 5. Let's remember that Dracula is a character whose damage is caused through the disadvantages of degeneration and bleeding, in this case also by being a mystical character, because when he avoids the effects of these 3 disadvantages of unstoppable or evasion that are of the 3 disadvantages or rather advantages of the defender most common in the game when we evade them due to reduction of recent abilities well inflicted. Hemorrhage. So that actually serves us quite well as such in the damage because I think it is not going to be so reflected by this very thing. I simply put it that once you wake up, it would be working quite well. This is because in the end, degeneration, invisibility, annulment, fear are going to help us avoid, well, this. Okay, so, well, in this case, you are already seeing it as we have left it. In this case, for me, Dracula has been a rather complicated character to kill, worth my consideration in the monthly mission. In this case, it lands on a solid semi-go tier for me. We will see how it improves or how it worsens depending on the goal. But in this case, for me, Dracula belongs to the semi-go tier. Good character that Kaman has brought us. Next character, friends, in this case, they have brought us the Super School Bug that, by the way, you already have on the channel. You're already seeing it. How is the link in this case? For me, they have given it much more attack force because we already remember that the defense was already okay. In this case, I am uploading it. Before the bug, I had it occasionally. But this character is going to remain usable, not because it is bad. The truth is that the improvement is quite good and I recommend that you watch the video so that let you see her. Problem is, it's still locked out of 6 stars. The same thing happens to him as with Rino. The Buterey was also quite bad for last month, but this Super School Boom is quite good. In the end, the character is a good defender, but in this case, the issue of damage, furies, and that plasma disadvantage for technological characters have been greatly improved. Apart from increasing his interactions and demolitions, therefore making him a fairly solid character in attack. And that is why he is so usable, because right now he is a character that it's not available from 7 stars. It's probably in a Crystal Titan or something surely. But right now we're talking about present. It stays usable. Okay? And finally, friends, we have to talk about the new 7-star characters that Kaban has brought us in the game. Which in this case, absolutely, we will all have to have more 7-star morals. That's why I put it with this one, with this purple heart. Because in the end, it was a gift from Kaban this month. Because you're celebrating the theme of this first appearance, you don't know what it is. Well, don't worry, I'll show you, okay? We are going to games again, we are going to fighters. And in this case, you are going to see that they have included a cosmetic element like it. That rainbow brilly in the character. This means that it is a first appearance, that you have achieved it for the first time when you leave 7 stars. And this, friends, is going to happen because with most of the characters. In this case, it is happening because with the first appearances of Dracula by Franken-Castle, the people who are achieving it are going to have it with that flash. Well, friends, this character has been given to absolutely all of us. I think everyone, if I remember correctly, or I think it was also by levels there, I don't remember anymore, you get me. So in this case, well, it is available from 7. As always, our friend, Mais Morales, needs the awakened skill and or the skill for 200 Mais Morales of friends. He's still a usable character to me. Okay, I don't consider that Go tier is valid for that friend tier. Then leave me some comments about what you think about what I just said. And finally, friends have taught us the new chase saga that we are talking about, Spider-Man stealth suit. Let's remember that she is a very famous 6-star locked character, but that in the end they have already brought her in the form of Saga Chase from the Founders War saga. And in this case, she is a character that is quite good, a lot of strength, attack force, very strong in, is going to be standing out a lot on top. Remove the unstoppable for that plush spider foam. That one that this character has so famous, so spy as stealth. In this case, if you can get it from 7 stars, then we are going to nail it to Semigos Spear because Amigos is going to be a very decisive character in terms of battlegrounds because of the speed with that spider foam prelude, the absolute damage that this character has. So friends, this way we end with the characters, but don't worry because we now have to talk about what is fashionable right now. The prestige of the new 7-star champions is worth it. In this case, we once again have changes in the top 30. Franken-Castle moves to 19, 33, 14, 40, and 40 prestigious positions. The relic that suits you best, I have welded from the winter. And then also the statistics in attack, the precision and penetration of Unblock in defense Dracula suits you since it actually starts with the same prestige 33, 440. Therefore, it would be tied with Franken-Castle, so I have put the case at level 20. The relic that suits you best is God Raider, precision and physical endurance. In this case, I think this is going to be the last month in which we are going to have only the Patelkas relic because I also want to introduce the relics stakes. Is that worth it? I hope you already have it for November's tier list. It also updates, therefore friends, we have changes in the top 30. Then with the Spider-Man Stealth, it goes to 93rd place, quite far away. So in this case, well, you don't have for 200. Remember, as I said before, that he is a character who shines without the duplicate. It is 32 to send prestige, Black Panther as a relic, main cruelty to do even more damage for those critical hits for attack and defense, penetration in blocking. And finally, our Mais Morales remains in 22nd place. That is super below 31764 prestigious. The relic that suits you best is Fiona at 99 of battle cast and precision and physical resistance in defense. Finally, the video is going to end. I remind you that the top 30 that you have here of both the relics and the champions, because it has changed, in this case, the champions. I have to tell you that our friend Franklin, Carta, and Dracula have gone up. Therefore, the other Negas, Pony, Bag, Yingray have been disappearing little by little from the map, okay? And have been going down. What about the relics? Well, it has already been discovered thanks to our dear Consom that any 7-star relic is that it will always be in first place. So, it doesn't matter if you touch the Iron Man relic like that of Kusala, as long as you have a 7-star relic, it will be your priority to upload it just like any 6-star relic. Studcast, it has already been shown that any 6-star relic is either 0 or 40 or 60. It is going to be much more prestigious than the battery cast. For this reason, even if I put 1 and 2 here, depending on the level that is valid. So friends, you have to go up, well, all the stakes and all the 7-star relics. The stakes, okay, so friends, well, this is what tier list looks like in this case. I remind you again that this land, and you have it in absolutely all the videos in the comments. So friends, I have always liked the sub video that you're alone, and see you in other videos. Bye bye. And before finishing the video, thank you very much to all of you who are channel members this October 2025. Many thanks to the VIP Soris of JP Elias Ramirez and Oscar Salmeron, and to Ocaroldan for being an authentic Sori. If you want to become a member, you have it in the description of all videos. Ciao, ciao, yeah.